कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव, कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन भज जनरंजन, 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 यमुना तीरावनचारि, यमुना तीरावनचारि, बिहारी राधा बिहारी Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Nitai Gaura Hari Go, Hari Go, Hari Go, Nitai Gaura Hari Go. Let's do Mangalacharna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Please repeat after me if you can. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirai Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Tirbhavati Naishtaki कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातमहं श्रीकृष्ण श्री ओम पवित्र पवित्र सर्ववस्थांगत यत् स्मरेत पुंडरीकाक्षसाभ्याभ्यान्तरं शुचि श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। Can you all see my screen, Prabhuji and Matajis?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Matajis. Audio clear gan in the Mataji? No disturbance,
Prabhuji,
right?
yeah. No
Perfect.
disturbance.
Cool. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Matajis. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, I'm speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam just to purify myself. Definitely, this chapter, what I'm going to discuss today, the discussions between Jadabharata and Rahudana. I'm sure this is a very high philosophy, and definitely this is beyond my capacity, beyond my realization, just for the sake of service. With the little learning I had from the Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, I'm just trying to repeat as it is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll try my best to not apply my own interpretations or my own my own realizations. The realization, instead of speaking the realizations of from the Guru, I'll try my best not to speak my own realizations so that I don't insult Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in the last three classes, His Grace Leelanda Prabhuji, His Grace Dasraj Prabhu, His Grace Aditya Santosh Prabhu discussed beautifully about the three lives of Jadabharata or Bharata, and also the discussions between Jadabharata and Rahugana. Uh, I'm sure they set the beautiful context for this class. Just for information, few devotees from our satsang also joined this call. Hare Krishna, Ramakrishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Maidar Prabhuji. So, yeah, few devotees from my satsang also joined. Let us all welcome them with three loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I think this is their first Bhagavatam class. And they'll continue forever.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
So, just to give a quick recap of what we discussed in the last three classes, I'll not take much of time for this quick recap so that, if any new devotees are joining this class, they don't get bewildered like what's going on. So I'll just try to give a very quick recap. So once there used to be a king called Bharata, okay, after whom we got the name as Bharatavarsha. This king used to rule the kingdom with so much compassion towards their uh, members who are staying in the kingdom. And he used to take care of all the necessities to the people, and he used to rule so many years. And also, when he wanted to retire at his very young age, at a very young age means at that time they used to live thousands of years, not like 100 years like we are living now. Okay, 100 is also a big number now, but they used to live thousands of years. So this King Bharata also ruled his kingdom for almost hundreds of years. But at a very young age, even though after ruling hundreds of years, at a very young age, okay, even though after ruling for hundreds of years, he retired young. He retired at a very young age. That means we can imagine how long they used to live. So he left all his opulence, he left all his sons, and he left our entire kingdom, and he finally decided to come to Vanaprastha, and he came to a forest called Pulaha Ashram. He came to an ashram called Pulaha Ashram, and he wanted to come there and practice his devotional service. So finally, he retired and he came to the forest and he started practicing his devotional service. He started meditating on the Krishna, and he used to do all the rituals, and also he used to eat only fruits and vegetables that he gets raw by offering to Krishna. So that's what his devotional life was going very smooth. Yeah. Then one day he wanted to meditate at the bank of one river, Gandaka river. So one day he went to the river, and there he was seeing a scene. That scene is, there was a deer. The deer was a female deer and it was pregnant. So this pregnant deer was drinking water from the river, and all of a sudden, this deer heard a very big sound from the lion, the roaring sound it heard. Then immediately out of fear, this pregnant deer jumped over the river to cross the river. It was a small river, so it tried to jump the river. But while jumping, this deer got a miscarriage. Miscarriage is something, um, a baby taking birth uh, in a in a different scenarios instead of natural delivery, because of different circumstances the baby comes out, but it was a full blown deer. So the baby deer fell into the water. So this mother deer went into the forest because of fear, and it left this baby deer. But this Bharata was observing all this scene. Because Bharata was a king and Kshatriya, he was compassionate towards every living being. That's the Kshatriya quality. He should take care of all the entities in his kingdom. So with the same passion, this king took that baby deer into his lap. Okay. So after that, what he did is he took that baby deer to his ashram. He took that baby deer to his ashram and started taking care of it very nicely. But this nice became nicer. This Bharata didn't stop there. It took care of that baby deer so nicely that he used to feed him tender grass. He used to make him sleep. He used to kiss him. He used to kiss the deer. So he used to take care of him very nicely. Okay. At one point, what happened is this Bharata could not focus on his devotional service. Slowly, it's getting down. Because of the passion towards is the deer, the love towards the deer. So at one point, this Bharata was performing yajna, and the deer came and started hugging him or kissing him. Yeah, just like in our son comes into the class and disturbs, by hugging us, kissing us, and crying. Like this baby deer also trying to hug her, kiss this Bharata when he was performing some yajna. Because the Bharata took care of the deer so nicely like a son. So that also thought him as a like a father, and he was, giving us. So this Bharata scolded the deer, hmm, not out of anger, out of love. Just like we tell our son, right? Hey, pura disturb cheyako. Like we say that, right? In the same way, with so much of love, this Bharata scolded the deer, and the deer went to a corner, and was sitting with so much innocence like this, expecting Bharata will come and pamper the deer. The same thing happened. Bharata went and hugged the deer and told, Nana, Nana, ni kadra, Nana, Nana. So he was just, hugging, pampering the deer. So slowly, Bharata could not focus on devotional service. He left the yajna in middle. Yeah. So finally, what happened is one day the deer all of a sudden left. It's not there. So Bharata was searching. Bharata was searching, just like when we miss our son, we search like with so much intense, right? In the same way, this Bharata was searching for the deer. He left so much opulence. He left his kingdom. He left the entire opulence, the so much of richness. He left everything, and he was struggling for a deer's love. So that's what association matters. When we don't be in a proper association, that's how we also misguided, and that's how we also slowly get away from the devotional life. So we should always be in association. That's the biggest lesson we can learn from this pastime. And finally, because of that lamentation, Bharata fell into a ground one day, thinking about the deer, and all of a sudden, when he was about to die, because he didn't eat anything because of that lamentation, so all of a sudden, he was thinking about that deer, and suddenly he has seen the deer it's just a conception, right? So he just seen the deer, and he died. And Bhagavad Gita says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejate ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Meaning, whenever we die, with what consciousness we die? With the same consciousness, we take the birth. And that's where he took the birth as a deer. That's where he took the birth as a deer. But we might question how Krishna is so merciless. He performed so many rituals. He performed devotion for so many years, and just because of the deer love, can he get a animal life? Is he serious? Yes, he is serious. Though he gave Bharata as a deer life, it got a boon that it can remember his previous life so that it doesn't repeat the same mistake. We can all do mistakes. There's no problem, committing mistakes, because after all, we are a conditioned soul. If not we, even devatas commit mistakes. What to speak of a human being? Yeah. So committing mistake is not a problem, but repeating the same mistake is a problem. There is a Telugu song, right? తప్పు చే తప్పు చేయడం తప్పు కాదురా మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ some దేశం ముద్రు. I'm not able to recollect that song. But committing mistake is not a sin, but repeating the same mistake is a sin. So this Bharata, because he practiced so much devotional service in previous life, in this dear life, he remembered all his mistakes, and he made sure he doesn't commit the same mistakes again. So this deer again went, left all his fellow deers and went to the Pulahashram where Bharata had left his body. To the same ashram, this deer went and it started listening to the Harikatha. It started participating in the devotional service, and it was eating only the dry grass because thinking that on the green grass there might be some insects, and it by unintentionally doesn't want to hurt even the insects because he's very confident, he's very strict now. I want to go back to Krishna this life. Okay, but to go back to Krishna, one must get the human body, and that's where he got a Jada Bharata. That's where it took again in a very pious family. That's what our Shastra says. When you leave your devotional service and you suddenly die without fulfilling all your devotional service, you take the birth in either a pious family like Brahmana's family or in a rich family so that you don't need to work so hard for the bread and butter. Okay, that's where this deer died, and again this Bharata took the third birth, which is in which his name is Jada Bharata. His name is not Jada Bharata, because no one named him also, like no one named him because he was by birth he was acting like he was a deaf and dumb fellow. Yeah, so that's why they called him a Jada Bharata. Jada means like lifeless. Jada means lifeless. The opposite of word Jada is called Chetana. Chetana means conscious. Jada means unconscious. Chetana means conscious. So this Jada in his third life, acting like a deaf and dumb. His father tried a lot to educate him in the Shastras, teaching him Sandhya Vandana and all, but he never focused. Generally, what we do, we take Achamana and we start worshipping. But this Jadavarata used to act like he performs puja first, then he will take the Achamana. It's reverse because it's not like he's a really dumb. He's acting like dumb because he doesn't want to attach to anyone, because in his previous life, just because he attached to the deer, he was taking repeated births again and again. So this time is very, very serious because getting a human life is very rare. Hunam janmanamante gnanavan mam prapadyante vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabh. Even after many repeated births and deaths, one knows the Krishna is the topmost, and that consciousness we get in the human birth. So this Jadabharata didn't study anything. He was, when whatever they give, he used to eat. No matter it's spoiled or fresh, doesn't matter. He used to eat by taking it as a Krishna Prasad, because just for his survival. తినడం కోసం బతికేటోడు కాదు, బతకడం కోసం తినేవాడు ఆయన. So he used to eat for the survival. So one day, his brothers, when his father died, his brothers asked him to go to the field and take care of the field. So that's where he went, and was sitting on a tree. In his own consciousness, he doesn't care about what happens next to him. So he was sitting on a tree, and he was started meditating on Krishna in himself. So suddenly, few thieves came searching for a human who is so strong to give the bali to the Kali Mata, which is which is not prescribed in any Vedas, but out of madness, these thieves wanted to give the Narabali to the Kali Mata. So when they were searching, they found this Jadabharata. So they asked Jadabharata, hey man, we want you, please come. So they took him to the Kali Mata. They nicely fed him whatever he wanted. They fed him. He didn't ask anything, but they fed him, and nicely he poured buckets of kumkuma and haldi, paspu, and also he garlanded him, because that's how the ritual, right? When you go to any Kali Mata temple, they do this goat, right? Goat bali, make a bali. So in the same way, they were also doing the same thing, which is again not prescribed in any Vedas like this, but out of foolishness, they were performing this. So then, when they were about to cut the throat of this Jadabharata, Kali Mata out of so much anger came from the deity. Just like Narasimhadev came out of the pillar to protect Prahlada, saying, Garjantam, Garjayantam, Nijabuja Patatam, Spotayantam, Hatantam, Deepyantam, Tapayantam, Divibuviditijam, Kshepayantam, Kshipantam, Krandantam, Roshayantam, Dishi Samharantam, Bharantam, Vikshantam, Purnayantam, Kara Nikara Shatatai, Divyasimham Namami. Narasimha, this is a sloka from the Narasimha Kavacha. He was roaring, Garjana, Garjantam, Garjayantam, was roaring and he was making others to roar with his so much ferocious face. Garjantam, Garjayantam, Nijabuja Patalam, Spotayantam, Hatantam. He was coming like, killing. Deepyantam, Tapayantam, Divi Bhuvi Ditijam, Kshepayantam, Kshipantam. Diti means who is the Diti? The mother of Hiranyakashipu, right? So Ditijam. So he was trying to kill Hiranyakashipu. Krandantam, Roshayantam, Dishi Satatam, Samharantam, Bharantam. He was playing the football with Hiranyakashipu, throwing him there, this side, Dishi. Next, Krandantam, Roshayantam, Dishi Satatam, Samharantam, Bharantam, Vikshantam, Purnayantram, Kara, Nikara, Shatatair, Divya Samham Nama. With his so many hundreds of hands, he was trying to kill Hiranyakashipu. In the same way, Krishna's external energy, Maya, Durga Mata, tried to kill all the thieves and protect Jadabharata. As you can see in the picture, he was cutting all the throats of all the thieves. So Krishna protects his devotees. This is another lesson we all must learn. Krishna protects his devotees. We should have that faith. We should have that faith. We may speak many things like this from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramayana. We may give hundreds of classes like this. But do we really have that faith? Krishna protects us. Do we really have that? That we should develop. We should develop slowly. If we cannot make it, at least we should fake it. Krishna, please protect, please protect, please protect. So finally, this Jadabharata, though Kali Mata came and protected him, he was still acting like a dumb. He was not, offering obeisances. Nothing. We just left the place. Matra sparshasta kaunteya sitoshna sukadakada agamapayino nitya stantatiksha bharata. He's not feeling happy because he got something, and he's not feeling sad because he's got something. He's not happy because Kali Mata protected him, and he was not sad because they were cutting the throat. This is called Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada. I was asking one of my friends, do you read? He told, I read Bhagavad Gita so many times. Why are you teaching me all these things? Then I asked, can you tell me a sloka? Then he told this sloka. Then I asked, what is Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada? That means he told that Shita Ushna. Shita means cold. Ushna means hot. So a person who can tolerate the coolness in the winter and also hotness in the summer is called Dhira. So this is the problem when we read Bhagavad Gita without a guru. We understand as it is. Means we just pick the word-to-word meaning and we'll frame our own sentence. That's the problem. That's not the meaning. Shitoshna Sukadaka means it doesn't get affected because of the pleasures and the sadness. Is Paramahamsa. Sthita Prajna is, is not affected by any of these things. So finally, this Jadabharata came to home and he was walking on the roads. Then at that time, there was a king named Rahugana was there. This Rahugana wanted to get self-realization by going to Kapila. So he was going to the Kapila. Because he's king, right? So he cannot go walking. Just like we have so many cars for our CMs and PMs. At that time, they used to have palanquins. So he was going in a palanquin, and that palanquin was lifted by four people. Yeah. So all of a sudden, one of the person falls sick, and he wanted to give that palanquin to someone else. So that's where they called Jadabharata and asked him to lift, because king has that ability to order any of his people who is staying in that kingdom. So this Jadabharata came and he was lifting that palanquin. But because he was so serious to go back to Krishna in this very life itself, he was so concerned about each and every insect also. Intentionally or unintentionally also, he didn't want to commit any mistakes. So as there were some insects on the ground, he was trying to step slowly so that he doesn't kill any insects. Because of that, the king Rahugana was, bewildered inside. He was moving like this. Then he scolded, "Who is that? Who is that doing like this? Don't you know how to carry me?" So he was scolding. Then three of them told, "No, no, 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 we are not the one. This guy, this guy, this guy, Jadabharata." Just like the point, right? This. So like this, they were all pointing to Jadabharata. Then he scolded Jadabharata. "Hmm, why are you doing like this? Are you tired?" Means he was sarcasm because he just came, right? Are you tired because you are carrying this palanquin since 100 miles? Hmm? Or are you not having enough strength because you are so lean? Because he's not lean. Sarcasm, reverse. So he was scolding. But still, Jadabharata didn't care because what happens uh, if you keep finger in the ant hole, what happens? You get hurt, right? In the same way, we should not react to each and every stupid discussions. We should always try our best to stay away from all the stupid discussions. Yeah? So still he will try his best. So he was trying his best. And finally, this king got so angry because of him. And if he came down and he was scolding. Then Jadabharata started speaking. Jadabharata started speaking. When he started speaking, he was first thing he told is, to whom you are scolding. Not out of anger, he was telling. He was just trying to teach the philosophy. To whom you are scolding? Are you scolding me? Or are you scolding my soul? Hmm? You are telling I am tired, but I am not this body, I am the soul. How can a soul get tired? A soul cannot get tired. Only the body gets tired. So it's not me who got tired, it's my body. Then this Rahugana thought that this man is not a ordinary person. This guy is a very scholar. Then he started bowing down to Jadabharata and asked, "Please teach me the self-realization." So what can we learn from this? We can learn from this that we should we should choose our guru not by looking. We should not choose our guru with chakshu. We should choose our guru with the Shravana, Karna. With Chakshu, we should never choose the Guru. With Karna, we should choose the Guru. Hmm? By looking at what? Everyone can look like a Guru. If you just grow your beard and if you grow your hair and add a shika and add some dhoti, put some different kind of tilak, everyone seems to be a Guru. So I'll share a thing that I came across recently. Uh, I have three sisters. My second sister was constructing a house in their city. So she called me because she sees me, right? So she asked me, thinking that I know all these things. So she called me. Are, I want to cut the goat for my housewarming, not housewarming, before starting the construction, right? So I want to cut the goat because in Telugu states, I don't know about the other states, but at least in the Telugu states, they cut the goat before starting the house construction or in middle of the house construction. As again, this bali, they give bali, right? In the same way, this bali. Again, this is not prescribed in any Vedas. So she wanted to cut the goat. Then she asked me, what should I do? Should I cut or should I not cut? Then I asked, if I say no, will you listen? No, 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 I'm just asking. Then why did you call me? Then why did you call me if you cannot hear me? No, no, I'm just checking just to know. Again, I told, okay, anyway, you don't listen what I say. You believe some Baba right nearby your house. Go to that Baba and ask. So she went and asked him, and she called me again in the evening. But this time, before she even asking, I just told, I don't know what that Baba told, but what I know is Instead of this bali of meka or goat, you can just break the pumpkin. Then that's also gives the equivalent result. Then my sister told, no, 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 no. That Baba told you can actually cut the goat, but you don't eat. Feed it to the labor who are working for that house. And that Baba is actually the reason why I suggested her to go to that Baba is because generally people don't listen from their relatives. That too, I am younger to her. So why should listen to that ahankara comes? Yeah. So that's why I asked, better she go to that Baba and ask. Then she told that actually you can cut the goat, but you don't eat, but you can give it to uh, the labor. Then she told, but my brother told not to cut, even if you break the pumpkin, it will give the same result. Yeah, of course, but that labor should also feel happy, right? Or how they will work. They should feel happy. They should get strength. See, this is the problem. How can he become a Baba or Sadhu? The real quality of a sadhu is Didikshva Karunika Suhruda Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatravaha Shanta Sadavaha Sadhu Bhushana. Means Titikshva. Titikshva means tolerant. He's so tolerant. He's not disturbed by anything. And Karunikaha, Karunika means so merciful. Suhruda Sarvadehina means he's friendly to each and every living entity. Sarvadehina, not Manushya Dehina. Sarvadehina. To all the living entities, including that goat. Ajata Shatravaha. He doesn't have any enemies. Shantaha is so peaceful. Sadavaha. He always abides to the scriptures. Sadhu Bhushana. These are the characteristics. Bhushana means quality or characteristic. So Sadhu Bhushana. These are the qualities of Sadhu. But when this Baba told to cut the goat, how can he be Suhruda? How can he be friendly? How can he be Karunika? How can he be merciful? Hmm? So that's why, because I have seen him externally, having a tilak, having a shika, and all, I thought he's a sadhu. But he's not sadhu because you should not decide a sadhu with your eyes. You should decide a sadhu with your ears. Listen what he's saying. Is he speaking from scriptures? Does he have a guru? Hmm? Is he speaking the uh, is he wishing the well of every living entity? You should listen. Then you should decide. This is the lesson we can learn from the Jadabharata. Then is Glaze Lilananda Prabhuji, Dasra Prabhuji, Aditya Santosh Prabhuji beautifully described the conversation between the Jadabharata and Rahugana. So now, continuation to that discussion. Today we are starting our actual discussion, which is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 13th chapter, 1st sloka. So, to make him understand, to make Rahugana understand, Jadabharata was giving a allegorical story. Allegorical story means it's just a imaginary examples with some imagination, he was giving. Does anyone remembers any allegorical story from Srimad Bhagavatam? This is my second class, and my first class also was on the allegorical story. This is also allegorical story. So 2 times I got allegorical stories. Yeah. Anyone remember my first class allegorical story? Anyone of you? Anyone remember? Yeah. I was talking about the Puranjani, if you remember. So that was an also allegorical story from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is another allegorical story. So in this allegorical story, first what our Jadabharata is saying to Ravana is that the conditioned soul enters this material world for material happiness. Okay, so we take the birth, right? We take the birth for what? There he becomes conditioned by Maya and suffers in different types of bodies and also remains baffled in search for relief, struggles for existence without the shelter of a pure divinity. So because of our desires, karma, we take repeated births. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it said that Kshutparito yatadina sarameyo gruham gruham charanvindanti yaddishtam dandam odanam evava tata kamashayo jiva uchavacha patabraman upariyadeva madhyeva yatidishtam priya priyam. That means Sarameya. Sarameya means a dog. A dog, Chutparito yata dina, out of hunger. Yata dina, out of hunger. Dina means like after distress. What can be distress for a dog? Just hunger. Right? So with that hunger, what it does, it goes house to house. Gruham gruham. Chutparito yata dina sarameyo gruham gruham. It goes charan vindanti yaddishtam. Yaddishtam means what happens if a dog comes to your house? Either you will punish him saying that hurry, 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 or sometimes you give him food. Either you will punish because you don't have food to give, or because there is some leftover food, you will give the food. Either of these two things you will do. That's why dandam odanam. Dandam means punishment, odanam means food. So Kshutparito yatadina sarameyo gruham gruham. When the dog goes from house to house because of the hunger, either it will get dandam or odanam. Either it will punishment or the food. Tata, in the same way, kamashayo jiva. A jiva, a conditioned soul out of kama, lust. What it does? Ucha, vacha, pata, brahman. Brahmanam means what? Brahmanam means rotate. Ucha, vacha. Either it will take the highest life, like human life, or lower birth, avacha. Ucha means highest, avacha means lowest. Either it will take the highest life, like human being, or lowest life, like a pig, dog, etc. Ucha, vacha, pata, brahman. Next, what is saying? Upariya deva madhyeva yatidishtam priya apriya. Upari means upa means highest. Adhava means lowest. Madhya means middle. Either he will go to the highest planets or to the lowest planet. Highest planet is what? Either Satyaloka, lowest planet maybe Patala Loka, or middle planet like earthly planet. Upariyadeva madhyeva yati dishtam. If you see in the first sloka also we got dishtam. Yadishtam. Just like a dog is getting out of his karma, the food or punishment, in the same way, this conditioned, desired, full of this conditioned soul, out of his karma, either he will get a highest birth or lowest birth, highest planet or lowest planet or middle planet. Also, either he will get priya or apriya. Sometimes he get the one that is favorable to him. Sometimes he will get the one that is not favorable. See, is there any difference between dog and us? It is also getting food, and when it gets food, it's feeling so happy. Just like we get some bonus or some hike, right? We also feel happy. The same way, dog is feeling happy when it gets some food. And then punishment. When that dog is thrown away from the house, so dandam, thrown away from that house with the punishment, it is feeling so sad. In the same way, we are also thrown out our companies, our houses, our love relationships, our marital relationships, thrown away, and we are searching for another relationship or another company. Yadidishtam priyapriyam. So this is what first sloka says. So this conditioned soul, because it's full of desires, he will go to the higher planet, lower planets, highest life, lowest life. Sometimes it's favorable to him, sometimes it's not favorable to him. In next is continuing in the second sloka that 6 plunderers plunder the misguided merchant. See, this allegorical story says that a merchant is going to the forest. A merchant is going to the forest to collect some things so that he can sell them for the profit later. Okay, maybe he will collect some chandana sticks, or maybe he'll collect something so that he'll collect and he goes out and he will nicely sell it for the good profit. Just like we are accumulating so much of wealth in this material world, investing in the stocks, investing there, investing on the houses, investing that there, they are thinking that they will give a profit later, and finally dying, giving it to our sons, and not sure what that son does, right? The same way, this merchant is entering into the forest to collect goods to sell them for the profit later. But As soon as the merchant enters into the forest, what happens? Let's see that. As soon as this merchant enters into the forest, all kind of wild animals attack him. అంతే కదమ్మా. చీమా చీమా నా పుట్టలో ఎందుకు ఏలు పెట్టినావు అంటే కొరుకుకుండా ఉంటానా అన్నట్టు. In the same way, when you enter into the forest, obviously wild animals attack you, right? So these wild animals can be tigers, jackals, or wild dogs. It can be anything. In the same way, this is compared to our life. These tigers and all compared to the uncontrolled senses. Uncontrolled senses. Because of these uncontrolled senses, we commit so many sins. So many sins. With eyes, we see everything, all the nonsense that we are supposed to see. Recently, Pranavananda Prabhuji came to our satsang, and before that also he came to our satsang. And I was telling same thing to our congregation devotees, so it might be redundant information for them. But he was coming before also. So he came one day before the election results. So that night I went to temple to make sure everything is set up, the speaker system, because I was expecting some 400 to 500 devotees. So I was making sure to set up the speaker system properly, and also hall is clean so that the devotees coming the next day will not face any uncomfort. So when I was going, as soon as I stepped out of my community and I was onto the road, the first thing I have seen was a prostitute was standing next to the road waiting for the customers. And somehow, with the power of some chanting, I could cross that. The reason why I'm saying with some power I'm crossing, so many people were standing there, just like you purchase some ingredients in a kirana store. In the same way, so many men were standing there for her to check the price or to check whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Yeah. It's out of her syllabus. Okay. So they were standing and asking those girls standing there, they are settling something. But luckily, I crossed it. But had it been, I not controlled my senses, because with the chanting or with reading some Shastra, I would have definitely been one of them. Because our senses are so strong. So our senses are so strong. And somehow I crossed, praying that, God, please pass me through this. I crossed. Then immediately I was seeing again one more big line, queue line, near the meat shop. There so many people were purchasing the meat. Had I been not in Krishna consciousness or devotional life, definitely I would have been one of them, for sure, 100% guaranteed. Because I see my colleagues, like, even though they take birth in Brahmana family, they eat sometimes eggs thinking that it's a vegetarian, or they get misguided, or sometimes they eat better non-veg than the actual the core non-vegetarians. Yeah. So somehow again I crossed that meat shop. Again, after I went little ahead, and because the next day's election results, I have seen a group of people standing there and they were doing the betting. Who will win tomorrow? Ravint Reddy or KCR? Who will win? So there was betting. Had I been not in Krishna consciousness and I had uncontrolled senses, I would have been one of them for sure. And again, somehow I crossed that third gate also I passed by. Fourth, immediately after there, I got a ping WhatsApp message. WhatsApp message says that tomorrow there is 144 section, so many people cannot gather in one place. Huh? What is this? Tomorrow Prananda Prabhuji is coming. I arranged so much. I did all my broadcasting of the posters also. How can I cancel now? It's 144 section. That means not many people can meet at one place, and I'm expecting 400 to 500 devotees tomorrow. How is this? And later, after calling so many people, I called Lilananda Prabhuji also, and so many people, then I got to know that it's a little misguided information or a false information, saying that 144 section is only at the counting places, not at every place in the Hyderabad. So I'm safe. So why I'm saying all this is I had each and every chance of canceling that class. I would have, if I had not controlled my senses and if I was not curious about a sadhu's darshan, definitely I would have trapped in one of these four gates. These four pillars are there, right? No illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating. I would have been one of these for sure, definitely. So this is the power of controlling senses. That doesn't mean that I'm controlled, okay? But at least little control is there. But when we don't chant or when we don't associate with the devotees regularly, definitely we'll do the same thing. And all these senses like tigers attack us. చూడు అది చూడు బాగుంది చూడు ఇది నేను బాగుంది ప్రజల్ప listen to ప్రజల్ప see the nonsense, we get attacked, all those things. And next, not only tigers, even jackals. Jackals, what jackals does? They cry loud. Again, this example, this analogy is only for the uh, people who are not in the devotional life. So please forgive me if I'm saying something wrong. I'm just repeating as it is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mataji especially, please forgive me if I'm speaking something wrong. So these jackals are compared to our wives and children. What wives does generally? Can you get me that? Can you get me this? Again, this is for the people who are not in the devotional life. Okay. Get me that, get me this. Children also, Nana, I want this, Nana, I want that. So they attack us. And after crossing all these things, what? Merchant entered in the forest. Then he got attacked by the tigers and jackals. And then by somehow he escaped these things and was running. And all of a sudden, he fell down into a dense bower composed of the thickest bushes of grass and creepers. Means what? He fell down into a ground where there was so much grass. In the same way, especially the Grihastha Ashrama is a field of fruitive activity. We accumulate so many things for our children, our children, our greatest grandchildren, our Paditaralu, 10 generations, 20 generations. We collect so much. But unless this desire to enjoy family life is completely burnt up, it returns again and again like a weeds among the crops. You know weeds, right? Weeds in Telugu ఏమంటారు? కలుపు. ఈ కలుపు మొక్కల్లాగా వస్తూనే ఉంటాయి ఇది. కలుపు ఏం చేస్తుంది? Whenever you cut the weed, it will come back again. Cut it, come back. Cut it, come back. But when you burn from the roots, then it will not come. Just like example, there is a tree. If you cut the tree, it will come back. When you burn from the roots, then it will not come back. In the same way, we should burn the desire deep inside. In the Ramayana, this is you should burn the roots of the senses. Then only it will not come back, or else it will come back. So also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishne Paratasvato va mito abhipadyeta gruhavratana adhanta gobir vishatam tamishram punaha punascharvita charvana. Chewing the chew, there's a bubble gum, you chew it, again you chew it, the juice comes, again you chew it, some more juice comes, again you chew it, then nothing comes. Just you're just chewing just for the pleasure of your tongue, that's it. Nothing comes. In the same way, how many lives we take, how many births we take to enjoy the same thing again and again. I'm speaking as it is, but deep inside, I'm the first one in this line. Chewing the chewed. Punaha punas charvita charvana. Chewing the chewed again and again. Next, continued. Okay, this merchant came to the forest. Tigers attacked, jackals attacked. He tried to escape. He fell down into the boar where there was so much grass. Then what happens? In that grass, there were so many mosquitoes, and mosquitoes were biting. So these mosquitoes are compared to the thieves. Okay. So in the same way for us also, there are so many people who will try to rob us, will try to fight us. అరే ఎందుకురా ఎందుకురా నీ తిలకం ఎందుకురా నీ కంటిమాల ఎందుకురా ఈ దోతి ఏందిరా ఈ కండు ఏందిరా ఏమైతుందిరా నీకు అసలు నీకు అర్థమవుతుందా ఏమన్నా పీపుల్ ట్రై టు tell this to us. Why are you wearing this tilaka? Why are there this kanti? What is this dhoti? And you old style. What is this yo-yo man? Get new style. People say that. People, I'm sure everyone have experienced it. They will bite us. But we should apply the odomus. The odomus is our chanting. No matter how they bite, we should be so tolerant. We should be so strict. We should never fall. Recently, one of my colleagues was asking, prove me that there's a God. And he was giving all the scientific reasons to me. I told, you should have some faith. And you cannot experience God because you want it. You should experience it with your practice. You should have that intense. Then you will experience it. I cannot show you for sure. And you can also not show me everything with the science for sure. So either you should believe science or the God. If you believe science, whatever you are doing, it will continue. If you believe in God, whatever devotees do, they get you. It's up to you to daily drink and eat or do what I'm following. What is better? It's given to your intelligence because you are graduated from IIT. You're working as a IT professional. So you should decide better. I'm not the one who decides your life. So you should decide better. You cannot prove everything with science, and you cannot prove everything with the your current senses with the spirituality also. So either you should fall for one. It's up to you to which one you should take shelter of. Yeah. So we should be so cautious about these mosquitoes. And sometimes when mosquitoes were biting, then this merchant was thinking, oh, I'm missing my house. Where is my house? So he's thinking about his house. If my house be like this, how nice it will be. If I have this so much big bedroom, how nice it will be. If I have so much nice bed, how nice it will be. I'll get the interior from that country, this country, so many countries, and I want to do this, I want to do this. So it's called imagination. This is called mind's false vision. So because this mind is absorbed in lusty, fruitative activities, we see this world as a permanent. We see this world as permanent, but it is not. But it is not. Okay, and because we think it's permanent, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Now we can do it. Now we can.
Sorry, Mataji. Again, material world. I got power cut. So it might go again because it's running on generator. So it might come back. So please forgive me. So yeah. So we should be so careful, Prabhujis and Matajis. So we should not think that this world is permanent. Okay. Next, sometimes when he was thinking about this house in that over creeps and grass, he all of a sudden he sees a glowing ghost, which looks like a meteor. Meteor means some like a it's like a light in the sky suddenly. Okay, so that is compared to the gold. People are so fond of gold, so fond of gold. Gangireddu mello gantalesnattu. Sorry, but that's what it is like. They decorate so much with gold. And recently again I went to a function and I was thinking like um, almost they wore the gold from top to bottom everywhere. And they're thinking, I think I should have that. Then it will be even nice. So even after acquiring so much of gold, still they are desiring for more gold. Okay. Then fourth sloka, it said that his intelligence is victimed by the home, wealth, relatives, and so forth. He runs from one place to another in search of success. So for success, he will run. I want that. I want this. I want to go to that country, this country. I want to acquire so much of wealth so that I can retire early. But Prabhuji and Mataji, it's very tough to retire. Unless we have serious that convictions. I was actually contemplating on this. Okay, I'm thinking to retire at some 50 or 45 if I live till that age. Am I really serious? I will retire? Because by the time I reach my 45, 50, definitely I'll get at least some 5 to 7 lakhs per month. And don't I get a thought that if I just work for 21 days, per day 8 hours, I'm just getting 7 lakhs like this. Do we really that serious to sacrifice that much of money? I'm just thinking, I was just actually contemplating on that. Or am I just being in a false assumptions, working so hard, thinking that I'll retire? I was just contemplating on that. But it's very tough to sacrifice so much. Chadabharata left his kingdom, left his sons, left his entire opulence, but just for a tender deer, by simply forgetting that this deer can survive with his fellow deers, he took care of it so nicely. In the same way, are we ready to give up whatever we are earning, thinking that our sons will take care of themselves when they reach 18 or 20s? Are we really serious? So in our community, one old Pandu Musli was discussing on a phone. I was just sitting because I love to sit near elders, thinking that they'll share their experience. But as soon as he entered, he was talking on the phone about the AP politics, like who will win, Chandrababu Naidu or Jagan. Naina, ఇదా నువ్వు మాట్లాడేది వయసులో ఇదా నువ్వు మాట్లాడేది అనుకున్నాను. I didn't tell him. If I tell him, he will give me all his experience. And with that experience, I will change from devotee to non-devotee again. So we should be careful with whom we talk. Okay. So next, sometimes his eyes are covered by the dust. So whenever I hear dust, lust comes into the mind, like the lust word comes into the mind. Okay. So again, imagine this merchant got into the forest. He was attacked by tigers, jackals, and he tried to escape from that. He went into the bower where there was so much of grass, and because there was grass, so many mosquitoes, so many mosquitoes were biting him, and he tried to visualize his house because he is missing his house because so many mosquitoes are biting him, and he's in so much uncomfortable zone. So finally, he's thinking about that light, imagining the gold and trying to acquire so much so that he can get out of the forest and sell for the profit. But all of a sudden, again, when he was out of that bower and running towards to get out of the forest, his eyes were covered by the worldwide. అంటారు కదండి వరల్డ్ వైడ్ అంటే తెలుగులో ఏమంటారు ఎవరైనా చెప్పగలుగుతారా? సారీ, ఐ వాంట్ టు షేర్ దట్ ఇన్ తెలుగు ఆల్సో. ఎనీవన్ నోస్ దిస్? గాలి తుఫాన్ అంటారు. వాట్ యు సే వరల్డ్ వైడ్ అంటే? ఎనీవన్? Mataji's professors ఎవరికైనా తెలుసా వరల్డ్ వైడ్ అంటే?
సుడిగాలి.
Sudigali. Sudigali. Yes. Sudigali. So this Sudigali, because of that whirlwind, his eyes are covered with dust. He cannot see anything. So this is compared to the lust he desires. So there are 3 gates to the hell. What are the 3 gates? 3 gates. Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmaha kama krodha tatalobas tasmat etat trayam tejet. Krishna is saying this. There are 3 gates to the hell. What are those? Kama, which means lust; Krodha, which is anger; Lobha, which is greed. When the lust satisfies, the greed comes. When lust doesn't satisfy, anger comes. So we should be, so the root cause of this Krodha, Lobha also Kama only. So we should be so careful with this lust. Lust is nothing but, as we discussed in last class or so many classes and by so many devotees, lust is not just a sexual desire towards some opposite gender. It's not just that. It's a lust is something, a deep desire which kills our spiritual progress, which is a hindrance for our spiritual progress, is called lust. And when we win over that lust, then we'll definitely go back to Krishna, because that is the main reason. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Daiveva Esha Gunamahi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Etat Tarantite. Meaning, ముళ్ళును ముళ్ళుతోనే తీయాలి అంటారు కదండి. సో ముళ్ళును ముళ్ళుతోనే తీయాలి, వజ్రాన్ని వజ్రంతోనే వేయాలి. So we should cut the diamond with diamond only. If we try to cut with our hands, nothing comes out, right? We should cut the diamond with diamond only. So we should we should uh, we should cross this Maya, which is the external energy of Krishna, by approaching Krishna himself. Krishna is saying this, Mama eva e prapadyante. Na దగ్గర రా, వెళ్ళిపో. Krishna is saying that, come to me and win this Maya. He's saying that. So this lust is so tough to win. Then, but our scriptures are giving so many solutions for this. Like, if you are get entangled for the lower taste, get the higher taste and forget the lower taste. So we should. There's a sloka in Bhagavad Gita, right? Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishva nivartante. Param drishva means the higher taste, you should get it. Just by Vishaya vinivartante, just by leaving your sense gratification forcefully, it doesn't help you. If you try to stop cigarette forcefully, it will come back and bite you with hundreds of force. But when you approach Krishna and experience in the taste is what? Look at his beauty. His beauty is so beautiful. Barha pidam natavara vapuhu karnayor karnikam vibrad visha kanakakapisham vaijayanti chamalam randran venor adara sudaya purayan gopavundai vrindaranyam swapataramanam pravishyad gita kirtihi. So barha means what? A peacock feather. Barha pidam, by keeping that peacock feather, Krishna, natavara vapuhu. Natavara vapu means is like, best of, he's looking like a best of dancers in his transcendental body. Natavara vapuhu karnayor karnikaram, and he's having these rings to his karna. Karna means what? Ears. So he's having this karnikaram. Karnikaram is nothing but a particular ear ring. You can call it as lotus-like flower. Yeah. Karnikalam bibrad vashaha kanaka kapisham vaijayanti chamalam. Kapisham means yellowish, kanaka means like gold yellowish type cloth is wearing. And vaijayanti chamalam is wearing the vaijayanti mala. And next what is the randran venor adara sudaya purayan gopavundai. Randran means holes of the venor. Venor means flute. What is doing with the holes of the flute? Adara means what? Lips. Adara sudaya purayan is filling the air into those holes. Gopavrundair vrindaranyam swapadaramanam pravishyad gita kirtihi. Meaning, with this attire, holding having a peacock feather on his head, and wearing the nice earrings, garland, flower-like earrings, and wearing a nice yellow goldenish cloth, and nice mala, and he's playing the flute in the holes of the flute. He's filling the air. In that attire, he's looking like a best of dancers, and in that attire, he's entering to the Vrindaranyam. He's entering to the Vrindavana forest. Swapadaramanam pravishyad. He's coming into the pravishyad. In that, Gita Kirtihi. Gopas are singing about that glorious. We should also sing. We should sing. When Brahma Samhita, we have nice Venum Kanantam Aravinda Dalayatакsham Barhavasantam Asitambuda Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Same, this is all same. Venum Kanantam Aravinda Dalayatакsham. Venum is holding a flute. Kanantam Aravinda Dalayatакsham. Aravinda means what? Aravinda means lotus. The Dhala means lotus petal. Aravinda Dala means lotus petal. Aksha means eyes. So his eyes are like lotus petals. Barhavasantam Asitam Buddha Sundarang. He's like a, he's very beautiful. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. He's attracted by so many Koti Kamaniya. So many Gopikas is attracted. Is attracting so many Gopikas. So, Venum Kwanantamaravindalayataaksham Barhavasantam Asitambuda Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visheshashobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Next again, immediately what Brahma is saying, Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamalya Vamshi Ratnangadam Karpanaya Keli Kala Vilasham Shamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Meaning what? Alola Chandra Kalasad Vanamalya Vamshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kalavidas. So he's attracting so many gopis, and Shamam Tribanga Lalitam is standing in a three-bended position. Tribanga. Niyata Prakasham is always charming. Next Krishna, next Brahma was saying Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana Purusham, Navayavvanam cha, Vedeshu Durlabam, Adurlabam, Atma Bhakto, Govindam, Adipurusham, Tamaham Bhajan. What do you say? Advaitam, there is no second to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the Adi Purusha. Advaitam, Achyutam. He never falls down. Achyutam, Anadim is from beginning. There's no Adi to him. Is the first one. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. He has millions of forms. Adyam Purana Purusham is the first person. Nava Yavvanam cha is always looking young. Vedeshu Durlabam. We will not get him through the Vedas. But Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. But for the devotees, it's easy to get Krishna. Just like Yashoda caught Krishna, we can also easily catch Krishna with our sincere, serious devotion. So like that, Brahma is praying while creating this universe, right? So we should also get attracted to that beauty. Parandrushta nivartate. So when we get attached to this highest beauty, we don't get entangled to this lowest beauty. Okay. Next, in the fifth sloka, I'll take another 20 minutes maybe. Yeah, because it's already 8:30. Shilpa Mataji, is that okay? 20 minutes? I'll just finish in 20 minutes. Okay, I think I can continue. So, can some devotee say, okay, just to make sure I'm not troubling you? 20 minutes.
Fine.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, next. To acquire water, he runs after mirrors. So, because of that whirlwind, his eyes were covered by dust, and suddenly he was feeling so thirsty, and he was trying to search for the water, and all of a sudden he has seen a mirage, and he was trying to run towards it, thinking that there's a water. But there's no water. Just like we don't get any happiness in this material world, no matter how much we gain. Sometimes his heart is pained by hearing the sounds of the owls and invisible crickets. Cricket is nothing but cricket is a special kind of insect which makes a very bad sound. Sometimes his heart is very, very pained because everyone says so many things to him. Sometimes he takes the shelter of impious trees that has no fruits and flowers. In the same way, because we are so morose, we go to a wealthy person and ask for ideas. Can you give me startup idea? I want to start a company. గాడిద కలిసి బూడిద రాలినట్టు ఇంకే దిక్కులేదు వాని దగ్గర పోతే ఏమొస్తుంది. So we should be so careful when we are morose, like when we are so sad, we should be conscious to whom we are meeting. Even in that situation, if we don't seek the shelter of a devotee, then I think we are going to a wrong place. Of course, this is very tough for the people who didn't even get introduced to devotion, but that's again our karma. We don't get birth like this into Kali Yuga just like that. Karmana daiva netrena, based on our karma, under the supervision of Krishna, we take this birth in different yugas and different bodies. So that's again the time of the birth that you took wrong. Time means not the birth time, but the age, Kali Yuga, or like that, right? So immediately what he does is he jumps into a shallow river because he wants to get some relief. That shallow river, as soon as he jumps, because there is so less water, he hit by a stone and he get broke. In the same way, we will also, when we try to approach a false or fake or bogus gurus, this is what happens. If you don't reach the right guru at the right time, you're dead. I've seen so many devotees. They say that I want to merge in that, I want to merge in this. Where you want to merge? Why you want to merge? God knows. So next, sometimes he begs food from others, and sometimes from the burning heat of a forest fire, like it is compared to the family life. He is so much struggling. He becomes sad because of his wealth. Stealing it, because we are paying 30% tax rate. We are so much. Recently I was running appraisal cycle, so I was telling my colleague, my team member, you get this much percentage. Pavan, this is so less. Government itself is takes 30%. What are you giving to me? So much trouble. Yeah. Can someone mute yours? Okay. Next. Sometimes imagine some dreams. Next. Sometimes you want to climb mountains. This climbing mountains is compared to the having so many successful hits, like I want to start a company or something like that. Okay. Next, overwhelmed by hunger and angry, sometimes he hells at his family, thinking like he will scold. Prabhuji, మీరు మ్యూట్ చేసుకోవాలి ప్రభుజీ, మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేయకూడదు. రవిశంకర్ ప్రభుజీ, మీరు yeah. Okay, so due to bodily hunger and thirst, this conditioned soul becomes so impatient and angry with his own sons and daughters and wife. So next, ninth sloka. This is all a comparison. So I'm just quickly going through because we're running out of time. So next, the merchant is followed by python and loses the conscience. So all of a sudden, a python bites him. Just like in sleep, we remain in the darkness of ignorance. This merchant is also feeling unconscious because of the python bite. Sometimes sometimes this poisonous snakes bite him. Sometimes he blindly falls into the dark well or hellish life. This is compared to the envious enemies. Envy is also so dangerous. How dangerous envy is? Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was actually a great scholar, kind of a devotee too. He could please Brahma also to get what he wanted. He could please Brahma. And in the other life, the same Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, he was also a great scholar. So he was a great Brahmana. A scholar also. He wrote this. I think he wrote Shiva Tandavam, also written by Ravana. What says? Jatatavi galajjalam pravaha pavitastale galevalambilambitam bhujangatungamalikam dhamad 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 ninadavaddavaryam. He wrote this Shiva Tandavam. Scholar, but basic sense, lust, gone. Hiranyakashipu, scholar, he could please Brahma, basic sense, envy, gone. So no matter how intelligent you are, how much best you can preach, how much best PPTs you can prepare, how much best service you can do, but if you don't conquer these things, lust, anger, greed, kama, krodha, mada, matsarya, and these things, no one can help us. Hiranyakashipu actually spoke the science of soul to the wife of his brother Hiranyaksha when he died. When Hiranyaksha died, he was speaking the science of soul. But because of envious towards Vishnu, he lost a basic intelligence that he is going to kill his own son, Prahlada. He tried his best to kill him in all the possible ways. And also, whenever he tried to kill, Krishna tried to protect the Prahlada. But even then he didn't realize the power of Vishnu. What happens finally? Narasimhadev came. When Narasimhadev came, I was hearing from a Brahmana, when he was killing Hiranyakashipu, he was actually, when he was taking away all the intestines from his stomach, He was actually searching for, is there a little love in this guy, Hiranyakashipu? If there is, even if there's a little love, I'll try to take, I'll take this away. I'll take this Hiranyakashipu to Vaikunta. But he didn't find. నరనరాల్లో పేరుకుపోయింది అసూయ అనేది. In every nerve, this got injected, this envy. But Krishna searches for that little love. Neha vikrama nasosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpam api dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Mahato bhayat, greatest dangers. With what? Swalpam, a little dharma we follow. Swalpam api dharmasya trahato mahato bhayat. So we should be very careful to cover this envy also. So real non-violence means freedom from the envy. And these mosquitoes, poison, the snakes, poison, all we are talking about are compared to these envious people. Snake, actually snake body is so cool. I don't know if you ever touched it or not, but snake body is generally very cool. But the deep inside there is so much poison. This also, this external walls also looks so fancy, big buildings, nice swimming pools, so much big nice beautiful gardens. Undi lopala గట్టిగా ఉంది లోపల పాయిజన్. ఇక్కడ క్లీన్ లేకపోతే nothing works. No matter how many buildings you buy, how many cars you buy, how many schools you change, how many colleges you change, how many offices you change, still punarapi jananam punarapi maranam, this goes on forever. So we should be so careful about these things, Prabhujis and Matajis. And again, I'm speaking this to myself so loudly so that at least I remember these things. And sometimes finally we obtain a little money, but that little money is also taken away by someone. We get cheated. And finally, gets cheated in the business transaction sometimes, and we create so many enemies just because of even single rupee also creates enemies for us. So we should also be very careful with the money that we are dealing with, especially with the devotees. So sometimes he wants to suck the honey from the bees. We'll go there and suck the honey. That also doesn't give happiness. So this allegorical story is very beautifully explained by Jadabharata. See, Jadabharata was acting like he was a dumb and deaf externally, but deep inside he was Chetana, means he's so conscious. But a conditioned soul is completely opposite to this. He is so Chetana, bodily so consciousness, but deeply is Jada. Jadabharata was Jada at bodily level, Chetana at the spiritual level. But a conditioned soul is Jada at the bodily level, but Jada at the spiritual level, Chetana at the bodily level. We decorate our body so much. So much we decorate. We forget to decorate the soul inside. Fitting. So I'll just conclude this with this allegorical story, just by summarizing. So a merchant enters the forest. As soon as just try to visualize this scene. If you want, you can close your eyes and try to visualize this. A merchant enters into the forest, and as soon as he enters the forest, the jackals, tigers, and all wild animals attacks him. And when he was trying to escape these wild animals, suddenly he runs and falls into the bower, which is full of grass, creepers and all. And in that, when he was trying to escape even from that, so many mosquitoes were biting him. And when so many mosquitoes were biting, because he was in uncomfortable zone, he was thinking about his house. He was imagining about his house, his nice flat, thinking about his bedroom and all. So this merchant suddenly gets out, and again he will see, like some light in the sky, which he compares to his gold. And finally, when he was about to come out of it, he will see a whirlwind, the Sudigali, and with that whirlwind, his eyes are covered with dust. Because of that dust, he cannot see anything. And finally, he'll run. In that process, he will find a snake, and that snake bites him, and he feels unconsciousness. After coming into the consciousness, he will find a river, and he will try to jump into that river, thinking that at least now I am safe. But as soon as he jumps into the shallow river, he got hurt by the rocks inside that under the water. And finally, after coming from that water, he will see a honeycombs, and he goes to the honeycomb and try to get the honey drops from that honeycomb, and he will taste that honey, and he feels that, yeah, nice, now I got the happiness. And again, he will start the journey from again, starting from that wild animals, jackals again attacks him. In the same way, we as a conditioned soul enter into the womb of a mother and gets out. And when we try to come out of that womb, all the relatives will come and hug us and kiss us. And already you will start. And my engineer came, my doctor came, he will throw all their ideas onto us. They will rub us with their ideas. And once we come out of it, when we try to escape all these things, studying, graduating, post graduating, and some graduating, and again he will die until he study double degree, triple degree. Okay, after studying so much, again he will sometimes he's so many enemies he creates in that process, and also he gets attacked by them, and so many uncomfortable zones he goes through. And finally some place he will find some happiness moment, just like the honey that guy got. In the same way, he gets some happiness, and again for that happiness, I will do that again and again and again, and forgetting the real purpose of life, because there is no one to think, no one to teach, forgetting the purpose of life. One day he will approach a fake guru, and that fake guru will give the fake instructions by showing his all gimmicks and magics. And finally, that living entity, forgetting the purpose of life, he will die one day, and again he continues the process. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. He will continue that process. So this is what this is happening. This is the allegorical story Chadabharata is discussing with Rahugana. In the next verses, again he will discuss deeper. And finally, in the 14th chapter, which is related to the 13th chapter, in the 14th chapter, he actually compares this one. Now, the reason why I'm comparing this is because you don't understand. Actually, these 13th and 14th chapters are very much interrelated. So I sincerely thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to serve Bhagavatam. So please, I'm definitely, this chapter is beyond my capacity. As I mentioned at the starting of the class, it's definitely beyond my capacity and beyond my realization. In this class, if I spoke anything like that, and because you all know me because you have seen me so many satsang, and my wife is also in the class, and she knows better than any one of you. So I'm sure I spoke beyond my realization, and please forgive me if I hurt you or if I spoke anything wrong away from the Shastras. So please forgive me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session. Thank you.
So,
Hare Krishna,
we can leave.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Pranam.
So we are not touching Srila Prabhupada translations. Of course, you are referring to both.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, because there were so many, so I just wanted to cover the Subodhini. So I was reading from that Prabhuji. But again, it touches upon each and every point that's in the purport and also the translation Prabhuji.
Prabhupada translation.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Bhagavatam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you for referring different verses with full enthusiasm. Nicely explaining. Very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All your blessings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Dev Prabhu.
Wonderful
Thank you for blessing me at 5 o'clock.
Oh, Prabhuji, wonderful class. Chala baga. Slokas and your recitation is very energetic. So, no, thank you. Where is the pure devotee?
Pure devotee, yeah. So actually, that pure devotee, actually, I'm giving the class in my bedroom, sitting here. So because I thought I was sleeping when I was starting the class, so I made him to sleep in other room, thinking that he will disturb me. But he was in the sleep, and as soon as I laid down on the other bed. He suddenly woke up and told, I also want to come. I asked him, where you want to come? Oh, you are going, sir. You are going to satsang. You wore dhoti and all. No, no, no. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Thank you,
good.
sir. Thank you,
So
sir.
that was Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful, wonderful class. Thank you.